What's happening? It's the Reverend, ain't nothing but some more of it. You are now tuned in to my YouTube channel. I am MCD Swift. And the conversations that I be having with my, see, y'all have spiritual advisors. I have Negro advisors that give me insight on how to deal with you niggas. And I have one of them on the phone right now. This is my guest for today's show.
Hey, I'm glad to be able to enlighten you. You know, one thing I do know. Yes, I got a criminal justice degree, but also I got a niggerology degree. And I tell you, life has taught me this degree. And the white people taught me criminal justice, but I tell you, life has taught me niggerology. And I tell you, today's time, I've been through a lot of shit, true enough. And I know that jails are not fair in population of race. You got more blacks than you do Hispanics. You got more Hispanics than you do whites. And it's just unfair. I get it. What I do know is I think back at how I've been victimized over the years. How people have stolen my shit. How people have broken my car. How people have done things to me. And I'm sorry. It ain't been the whites. It ain't been the Mexicans. It's the niggas. Niggas have stolen my shit. So, though I sympathize with the amount of niggas that go to prison, you know, I can't necessarily say that jail ain't made for niggas sometimes. Niggas gotta go to jail. Jail is in place for a reason. It really is. Because if you didn't have jail, what the fuck would happen? They'll steal your shit and then let them back out? I mean, what's really gonna happen? So if you think about it, it's insanity to think that we don't need a jail.
Right.
So I just think that it needs to be fairly populated. But I don't think that dismissing jail or thinking that jail is cruel is the thing to be doing. Because unless you've been victimized in some way in life, you might not have an understanding of where we're coming from. But if your ass been victimized and robbed and raped or assaulted or in some cases killed, then you get a whole new profile of respect for jail. So jail sometimes saves people's lives.
Yep.
It get them off the street for somebody else won't kill them. Or it keep them from, killing somebody else. So jail helps save lives. So we gotta look at it that way. I don't think we need to focus on and correct about jail is the unfairness on how many, based on ratio and population, how many blacks go compared to whites and Hispanics. But as far as the concept of jail, I'm all down for it.
So let me ask you this, okay? How do you feel about the whole snitching rule? Now look, this is my philosophy on snitching, and I want to see if you agree with me or you disagree, or you can expand on this. I feel like it's only snitching if you and another criminal decide to do a crime, right? And one of y'all get caught, and the other one decides to tell on the other person to shorten their time. That's snitching. But if you are a law-abiding citizen and you following all the laws and the guidelines, and you say what you saw, how are you snitching?
People put the word. See, that's some nigga shit. Snitching came out of nigga. That's a part of that's a page out of nigga book. Because snitching is say, oh, I don't want to be told on. Well, let me explain something to you. First of all, you're right. I think if y'all go do a crime together and you want to make your situation better by talking on the other person, that is what I would consider snitching. Because snitching is a word. So I would consider that. But if a person ain't held themselves out to be a street person, has not done a crime with you, and tell on your ass or report your ass, that's not snitching. That's reporting your ass. And I tell everybody, don't do no crime with me. Don't put me in your shit. Because I'm going to tell you, I ain't a good crook. So I'm not a good sidekick crook. I'm not nothing. I'm not a good getaway man. I'm not shit. Don't come at me about crook shit. Because I'm going to tell you. Because I don't really want to do the time. So they say, if you don't want to do the time, don't do the fucking crime.
Right.
So I believe if you follow that one simple motto, you're going to be okay. But it's niggas that do the crime and know they can't do the time, and then they talk and tell everything. Those are what I consider snitching.
Right.
But if you steal my shit, and I find out your black ass stole my shit, me reporting your ass to the authorities or fucking you up ain't snitching. That's just what I'm supposed to do. Because, hey, if you don't want to be told though, then the prime thing is don't do shit for them to tell on you about. That's how you can fix it. So I don't have a problem with snitching. I just think the person who went with that snitch made the mistake of going with that person.
So look, I was in an interview the other day with Change of Plans TV, and they were talking about the murder rate in Houston and how it's boosted, and they asked me what I thought about it. So I want to get your answer on what you think about the murder rate in Houston and why has it spiked so much.
Well, Houston ain't no different than any other city. Houston is not exempt from murder. It's not exempt from rape. It's not exempt from theft. And let me tell you, when people are, back in the day, we used to be suppressed as a people. And so we had to go out and do a lot of things because we have been suppressed. We were severely suppressed. We couldn't have jobs, we couldn't go to school, we couldn't do things. But we still have to eat. And we still have kids. We still got responsibilities. And how are you going to meet those if you're suppressed? And not to say that the government or society is suppressing us today. It's just saying the situation has gotten really bad. And when you can't find a job because of the unfairness of jail and arrest and record keeping, because you can't get a job. Oh, you got a background. Okay, so they don't give me the job. They'll hire you and then find you got a background and fire you. So they saw the quality in you.
Thanks.
It's just that one report made them overrule the quality in you of them hiring you and say, hey, because of this, we let you go. Oh, that happened 5 years ago. Okay, well, it still happened. So we are fired you. It's like a crime becomes a life sentence in society. And not in the sense of be in prison, but if you sitting there stuck in poverty, hell, that's just like prison.
Right.
And then what does that do when you get impoverished to a degree that you can't take care of your responsibilities, eat, have a roof over your head, and take care of your family? It's going to make you go back to what you thought worked, which really didn't work because you went and done time or you're on probation and you got charged and it's affecting you now, so it really didn't work. But that's all you know.
For that short period of time, it worked because you lived good for that short period of time.
Well, and everybody want to look at that and say, well, I wouldn't have done that, that's stupid. Well, let's put yourself in their shoes. I like to eat. I like to drive a decent car. I like to have nice things at home with amenities. Take all that shit from me and then tell me I can't have this type of job. And then it leaves me with a job that can't afford to give me what I'm accustomed to. Hell, I might do some shit that you won't think is right. But because I'm not in them shoes, doesn't mean I can't understand what them shoes may feel like. Because you have to be rational and reasonable about these things. Because that's only way going to help you understand them, and maybe you can have the voice that they don't have to kind of make some changes. Or maybe you have a job you can offer them because you see that they have changed. Let me tell you, the person I was 5 years ago is not the person I am now. I've got smarter, wiser, and I've learned a lot. So you got to assume that them people have changed. If you done went to prison, you done went through something. Something has changed in you. And if they go get a job after going to prison and go get a job, seeing maybe their change was in the right direction. Otherwise, they would have never showed up for your interview anyway.
Right.
They'd rather show up and rob your ass in the parking lot when you're coming out.
Like I always say this: if you knew me 5 years ago, then you no longer know me, because I've definitely changed. I'm definitely a different person now than I was 5 years ago. One thing that's constant in life is change, change, and change. Like something's gonna change about you, whether it's your physical appearance, whether it's your mind state, whether it's your attitude, whatever it is, over time, things are gonna change about you. So you're not gonna be the same person that somebody knew 5 years ago. And I think that it's wrong to hold someone's mistakes or bad decisions against them for the rest of their life. Now, you do have habitual offenders and people that just do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
And you're right. And those people are going to always be there. And those are the people that I say are the ones that jail matches up with. Because there's going to always be that element out there that runs it for the other people, that makes the other people that really trying to get a better job, to better themselves, have learned from their time in jail. They make it harder on them. And you got to say it, when it comes to negativity, people have a tendency to group together. When it comes to achievement in life, people will separate you. They won't group y'all together on that. Y'all have to individually prove yourselves. But when it comes to negativity, they will group you together. And so that's just how life is. So I would say to those people that's stuck in this situation, you have to individualize yourself. When you put yourself in a pool of other people, you have to work hard to individualize yourself. And if they don't see it, you don't stop because they don't see it, because that person may not be designed to see it. So you got to keep on individualizing yourself until the right person see you. And that opportunity will be the opportunity that you get blessed with. And that's just how life is. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
You gotta, I think that us, and let me speak, because I hate pulling the race card all the time. People, it's black people and this and that, but in certain instances, some stuff is just white people stuff, some stuff is just black people stuff, some stuff is just Mexican people stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the fact of life. I think we will be blind and naive to think that just because of your race, it doesn't categorize you or make you a certain way. Sometimes, like just being black, certain stuff is just black people stuff that white people will never understand. They don't understand that how we have to coach our children on certain things. Like when you get pulled over by a police officer, how you have to behave in order for you to make it home at night. It's just certain things like that is just black people stuff and it's just white people stuff. How they always think that black men are aggressive and we're violent. It's just certain things that we just have to deal with that other races don't have to deal with.
And let me tell you, we have learned over the last 4 years on how the situation has gotten to be such. Think about it. Before Donald Trump came into office, you weren't hearing them accuse and view Hispanics as racist, drug dealers, murderers. But he came in with a broad brush and painted them all that
The crazy thing,
Now,
growing up, all I was taught was Mexican people was hard working.
there you go. They landscapers. They did. They construction people. And so, but he took 4 years and painted them, and it was effective to a degree. We've had 400 years of paint getting painted. And we have been painted as savages, beasts, something that's less important than a horse, property, something we can hang at our leisure, whip at our leisure. We didn't have no rights. We didn't even have human rights. And so, Mexicans got it bad for both, but we have suffered for 400. So therefore, you can't take 400 years and erase it out of people's minds. And yes, it's simple to me. There are certain things that are white people stuff, there are certain things that are black people stuff, and there are certain things that's Mexican stuff. As certain as when I go to a Mexican restaurant, I don't expect to get soul food.
Facts.
When I go to a soul food restaurant, I don't expect them to be serving tacos. So therefore, bottom line, it's as clear as that to me. So yes, that's why they struggle with it. It's because we have been painted these things. And people do think of us those ways, that type of way. And you gotta understand now, I started this conversation off with niggas have victimized me. Robbed my house, stole my shit. They've been niggas, they ain't been Mexican white folks. So, black on black crime is real. And it's violent, it's ugly, but so is white on white crime. It's just black on black crime is more visible. It's more newsworthy. And so, but it's also, it's not as look at the white on white crime. Look at the bombings that are happening in America. Look how much, one person did it, but God, did he kill a lot of people.
Right.
Look at these shootings, all these shootings that occur. Look at those things. So yes, they're not seeing it as violent as they see us because they're looking at all of the 400 years of violence that's been held against us. But it's not no different. It's just that they've been taught and prone over the years to think that way. And that's hard to stop. It's hard to stop people from doing. It's thinking bad. Especially when they don't even take the time to get to know a black person to know that that's not true.
I was in I was in a barbershop earlier, right? And and it was a young Mexican guy, cause this is a Mexican barbershop, but they cut damn good hair. I don't even have a black barber. I got a Mexican barber. But long story short, he was sitting there and he was watching a fight tape of people fighting in public, right? And the whole fight tape, it only had one black person fighting and acting a fool in public. The rest of the people was white and Mexican. And I was like, and I thought to myself, and I said it out loud, I said, look at these thugs and savages on this tape. And everybody started laughing. And I said it to be funny, but I said it was just thought provoking because I was like, that's what they think about us. Every time they see us, they say, look at these monkeys, look at these savages, look at these beasts, these thugs, these hooligans. But it was nothing but a bunch of white people fighting in public and acting a fool.
That's up. And that's how it is, man. You know, if you just watch news, get on YouTube, you'll see all kinds of insanity that goes on with white people. But it's just not looked at, no matter how gruesome it is. They have always been given it's always been put that they're not as bad as us. And it's just that it all depends on who's watching. And white people get themselves, they will get themselves, the benefit of the doubt. They're going to give a black person the benefit of the doubt to save their lives. So we're stuck with what they give us. And one of what they give us It's just as unfair as the population of the jail.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this last question. And I'm gonna let you go. Oh, I appreciate you for being a part of this. But my last question for you is, why do you think that the George Floyd murder was different than every other murder that had done happened to black people at the hands of the police?
I don't think it's no different. I just think it's been.
Let me clarify what I meant. When I say, because when I say different, it was just a different outcome. Like all around the world, people were protesting and all walks of life were coming together for this one cause. So that's why I asked what made it different, because there's been a lot of different murders of innocent black people or unarmed black people, if you will, at the hands of the police. What made this one make everyone so outraged? And I'll give you my answer after you answer, but I just want to get your opinion first.
Because it's not often that we see with this much clarity, undeniable clarity, of someone getting murdered, especially by a police officer. And even though a lot of deaths have happened, but they've been shown to us in glimpses, if we're lucky enough to see anything at all about it. But we never see it from the start to the finish. And that is the problem. That's what made this such an outrage. And you got to understand, it happened at a time when people were stuck at home. All we had was the TV. And we're in a pandemic. The world is already crazy. And we already feeling some type of way. But then this happens. And it plays on TV. And we get to see it. There's no debate. Our eyes have seen exactly what happened. And it happened, at a time when things was already intense. And people are already suffering at the hands of the police so long. But this was the most clear-cut evidence of what we've been complaining about for a very long time. And it was undeniable. It was undeniable that it was criminal. It was undeniable that it was just humanly wrong. It was just undeniable in every sense that we call values or morals. And so therefore, you didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to go in there and make an argument. Even though they tried to do it in his trial, but there was no argument to be made. So it was an outrage because for a long time, a lot of white people, they gave themselves, like I always say, they'll give themselves the benefit of the doubt because they feel like, that just can't be. That just couldn't happen. Now that white officer couldn't do this. But this was not something they could pass on. They couldn't give any benefit to the doubt. This was clear cut. And I imagine the biggest racists in America thought that was screwed up.
Right.
So it became a national thing, and it became an international thing, and then it became a world phenomenon. It became a world that it happened in America, and it sparked the biggest domestic changes in American history. We never saw this many people protest of all colors and all ethnic, all ages, and it became a national situation for America. And you gotta understand, America always prides themselves on being fair, just, and it showed a different side of America. So everyone tuned in. And it showed black people that if we can't stand up, it's not so much as about George Floyd. His death sparked. He was a spark of something that was already brewing. He just was the one that sparked it. And it was already set to blaze. And when he sparked the fire, it blazed. And all we can think about when a fire is used is what started it, what sparked it. And that's why George Floyd's name became such a relevant name, is because he was the spark. He wasn't the one that created the fire, the pile that was already there, waiting for a spark. He just was the one that sparked it. And that's why it burned out of control, and it got things where it started change, it started justice from happening, it opened up to everybody's eyes. But he was just a spark. He was not the pile.
Well, this is my opinion on that. I believe that the reason why it got to as big as it got was simply because whenever a police shoots somebody, you shoot them and then it's over. Like it's pow pow pow, the person falls down dead, and then but this was cruel and unusual punishment. I think the fact that they had to watch someone, the life just flow out of them, I think that's what made it so bad for everyone, is the fact that you actually had to sit there and watch someone die. Yeah, you know it's not a movie. Because in movies, you see somebody get choked out, you see somebody neck get broke, you see all these type of things, but you know it's a movie. But when you actually have to sit there and watch someone beg and plead and cry and then beg for their mother, a grown man, like that touched people in a different way. I don't care what race you are. If you have any kind of compassion and any kind of heart, that touched your heart.
Exactly. And that is what happened. It was an undeniable situation. The world could not ignore it. The country could ignore it. The city could ignore it. And no human being, no real human being could ignore that. And I would say, it just goes to show that majority of the people in the world, and definitely in the United States, are human beings. And the biggest motivator to get a person to do anything is to be able to reach out and touch them. If you can touch them in any way, they will pay more attention to you. They will move. They will do things that they were common to do. And he said, why y'all here protesting? Because I will move to. We have to. This kind of situation can't happen anymore. This was heartbreaking. It was scary. It was upsetting. And they couldn't deny it no more. And then it goes back to a lot of people was in denial all this time until now. And that just triggered this time to go back and say, you know what? All this time that I'm thinking this is what happened. It's happening. I feel guilty. I got to do something about it. To even make me feel better about the times I didn't do nothing. And so it was a movement, man. And after a while, you know, Black Lives Matter was catching, it was under attack. That left, that dissipated, that went away. It was evident what they were saying when they said Black Lives didn't matter. Because that was a prime example of one that just did not matter to that time. And so we had to let the world know that it mattered to us. And we done a great job with it. And so that's why it was outrageous. You're right. No one got to see anybody in those scenarios go out like him. We catch glimpses. This was from the start to the finish, just uncalled for. And so how he did that and how this played out, that's what moved people to move. It touched them. It touched you in places that you don't want to be touched. So you feel like, I got to do something, because I don't ever want to be touched like that again, because that hurt me. That bothers me. That scares me. That angers me.
So what do you think about the time that the police officer got?
I think that the police officer got time, and that's what he did. You got to understand, murder is murder. And if he gonna get a life sentence for murder, no, because it ain't in the statute. It's not capital murder. It's just murder. And I believe that, yes, for a police officer to get time, anytime, I mean, that was amazing all in itself. That was surprising all in itself. But, so to give him anything was something that I wanted to see. I thought it was fair. I mean, we cannot look at how outraged the world was and the city was and what he done was. What he done was no more gruesome than all the murders that happening that we ain't seeing play out. So I think he deserved what everybody else would get. And I think that he got what he deserved. Everybody's got their opinion.
Yeah,
That's mine, based on the law.
a lot of people gonna disagree with you on that.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to remember his exact sentence. That sentence was what? Do you remember his exact sentence?
I think it was like 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Most murders, most first-time offenders, and he was a first-time offender that happened to be a police officer, but a first-time offender. Most first-time offenders will wind up with 10 years on a murder to 15 years on a murder. That's just what comes to happen. And he's a first-time offender. So, him getting 12 years, hey, I think that it's okay. Not what I would want to see happen to him, but you can live with it. The reason I say that is, it's amazing that he got 12 years and the settlement was 12 days.
Yep.
But I say this, he needed that. He needed to send a message to the police officers that they are not going to be able to do these things and get away with it. If I was the judge, would I give it to him? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm glad he got something. And yes, we all wish he could have got lighter, but he did not do a crime that requires life. So we need to change the laws if we want more out of it. And I think that he got what I would consider something he didn't deserve necessarily, but he got that. I think he don't deserve, he deserved the criminal justice system that black have been getting forever. That's what we wanted him to get the book thrown at him, you know. But I didn't expect that in the first place. I didn't expect him to get the book thrown at him. I didn't expect him to get life. I didn't expect none of those things. I just thought those things were just not gonna happen, and it didn't happen. I did want him to get over 10 years.
I think.
He got it, and I feel like that's just.
I think the issue with us as black people, we've been treated so unfairly and so unjust that we always want the worst for everyone else because we've been treated so bad. So we want the worst for everyone else, but you can't want fair treatment and then want unfair treatment for somebody else.
It goes back to a story I had, a real situation. This black man, he drives drunk and he kills 2 white people, run them over on a motorcycle. And he gets, the DA wants to give him 20 years for each death. So that's 40 years.
Yeah.
White man drives drunk. He's a coach of the school. The black dude is just a warehouse man, a nobody in the sense of how the system looks at him.
Mm-hmm.
And you got this coach, a winning coach in a small town. Everyone loves. He's driving drunk. He runs over a black lady and 2 little black kids and kills them in his truck. Goes home. And he, the next day, see the damage on his truck. Sobers up. Then goes to the police station and say, I think I hit something, an animal. And knowing that he hit people. But he went home and sobered up. The black dude got caught at the scene. He never sobered up. And they got him for murder and manslaughter. And the white man gets treated different. He winds up getting an accident. Failed to stop surrender aid, a felony, but a small time felony. And he winds up getting probation.
Oh, wow.
Of 10 years. 10 years probation for that crime. So the black man goes to court and he from a different judge in a different court. This judge gave the black man exactly what he should have got. The other court and the other judge is where you need to go and protest and have the outrage in. Just like you thought it was outrageous to give the white man probation for killing 3 people, how can you think it would be not outrageous to give him the probation for killing 2?
Right.
So you should be protesting where the ruling came from on that man's court. Don't protest this judge for giving a fair. She gave a fair verdict. That judge didn't give a fair verdict. So y'all protesting the wrong court.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm gonna stop it right here. Each week, I'm gonna have Mr. Chris on this show. The next time we do it, we're gonna be in person so that we can talk to Mr. Chris about the different issues. So each week, I'm gonna have a segment with him where we go over the different things that's going on in the world, and we're gonna have some reaction videos from other videos with Mr. Chris. So like, subscribe, share this video, comment, and I'll be back next time. One to grow on.